Larry and Joanna constantly argue with each other, almost getting into an accident. However, they make it to their son's house, where Larry adjusts the bandage. He believes that Joanna should tell everyone about her illness. Joanna will be there, but not today. She has no intention of interfering with the baby's gender reveal party. Their family happily congratulates the couple and jokes about their 65th wedding anniversary. While going through the boxes, they found old photographs of Joanna and her first husband, Luke. Larry decided to eat crack and choked. His vision goes dark and he falls. Moments later, Larry wakes up on the train. He is surprised that some of the passengers are wearing medical gowns. When the train stopped, Larry walked out with everyone else into the extremely crowded room. Larry tells his secretary that he was kidnapped, but she says that is not true. He must wait to be called. After a while, many people left, and finally it was Larry's time. Anne approached him. She explains to Larry that he has died. Larry tries to deny everything, and then notices the pink candy wrapper. This means that his granddaughter is a girl. Anna holds out a mirror so Larry can see his old self as a young man. The moment people die, they are transported to the moment of their happiest life. Larry seeks revenge on Joanna, causing Anna to hit him. Larry needs to understand that this is not heaven or hell, but a corridor. Suddenly the alarm goes off, and the guards grab the man. Anna warns Larry never to step through the red door. She then takes Larry to his temporary home. There are brochures depicting the world from the point of view of different religions. When he is alone, Larry watches TV. All channels run advertisements for different types of eternity. Because when people die, they have to choose their new eternity. Larry walks around the area from time to time, always bumping into advertisements. But he opens the bar anyway. A man sits next to him. Larry warns that he is married. But this does not scare the girl, and it promises a fun night. The bartender, Luke, reminds her that this bar doesn't allow advertising for eternity and makes her leave. Larry isn't interested in Angel Lilac. He calls himself a man who took on the job to stay in this place. Larry must understand that once he chooses eternity, it will be impossible to change it, and also visit other eternities. If a person breaks the rules, such as staying here too long or leaving eternity, they will be sent into the void. This is an area where eternal darkness reigns. Larry reveals that he has a wife with cancer, and he promised to take care of her. But now he feels extremely terrible for leaving her. The modern day is coming. Larry wakes up in his room and recognizes Anna. He asks her why people work here, and Anna calls them people who cannot accept their death. Some are just waiting for their family. Larry asks when his wife will die, but Anna cannot give such information. Since Larry decided to wait, after 7 days he will be assigned a new job as a janitor. But he will have to leave the hotel room and move to the basement. Joanna never showed up, and when Larry finally decided to come to terms with eternity, he noticed young Joanna. But she didn't see it. Larry instantly gives up eternity and runs after his wife, who has already guessed about her death. The first thing she does is scold Larry for his stupid death. But she is distracted by another employee, Ryan, who shows her first husband, Luke. He waited for her here all 67 years. Larry tries to interrupt their conversation because he wants to take Joanna with him for eternity. Joanna is stunned because she is given a choice between two husbands. Ryan takes Joanna to a room where she can change. Ryan believes that Luke would be the best choice since he has been waiting for her for over 50 years. Therefore, it will not interfere with their communication. At the same time, Larry pours out his heart to Anna. He does not believe that Joanna will be able to choose Luke, because it was he who gave her 65 years of marriage and children. And Anna calls it blackmail. Joanna and Luke walk around the hotel. A guard runs ahead of them. They catch a man who wanted to escape from the darkness. The guard greets Luke and realizes that Joanna is with him. Luke had obviously told a lot of people about her during his time here. Luke tells her that he loves her and thinks about her every day. But when he tried to kiss her, Joanna turned away. She needs time to think things over. Sometime later, Larry enters the room and offers some eternity. Joanna is clearly on edge. Larry remembers that squats help her calm down. In old age, they can no longer squat. So doing new squats makes them happy. After which Larry rushes to the river and suffocates again. Joanna kicked him out of the room. Anna reports that Larry needs to squat in the basement. The new apartment is much smaller than the previous one. The modern day is coming. Larry takes Joanna to the main hall, urging Anna to find Joanna's favorite singer. As it turned out, it was a scam. Who is this? This is not Dean Martin. Of course not. Moreover, He begins to pester Joanna, and only Luke was able to throw it away. An argument begins between Larry and Luke. Joanna leads the two workers to her room. I asked them to find a way out of this situation. They called someone and got permission to remove the rule. Now Joanna has a unique opportunity. She's allowed to visit each husband forever, and then decide who she will stay with. An ongoing argument begins between them about who will take Joanna first. This pisses her off. The dispute will be decided by tossing a coin. Luke wins. Even on the train, they remember their life together. The couple walks through the park, where Joanna is about to talk about her grandchildren, which Luke clearly doesn't like. He's sad that he couldn't spend his life with her. But I'm glad she's okay. Joanna reports that when he went to war, she was waiting for him. But when there was no hope of going back, she had to move on. Archival buildings are an eternity. It holds memories of their lives. At some point, Luke disappeared, and he has to watch as Larry proposes to her. He leaves the building, saying that Larry took advantage of her grief. Although Joanna is sure that this is not so. At the same time, Anna suggests that Larry remind Joanna why she fell in love with him. Larry doesn't even know why, but he knows he can help him. Larry visits Karen, Joanna's best friend, although she also doesn't know why Joanna chose him. But there is one thing she is sure of. Larry made her happy. Larry then shows up in Luke's room to look for incriminating evidence, when suddenly Luke enters the room and accuses Larry of manipulation. In fact, it would have been better if Larry hadn't shown up at all. The battle begins. The letter he is writing about his wife falls out of Larry's pocket, the moment when he enters eternity. As for their struggle, Larry swears he didn't know Luke existed, although he proposed on the pier. But Luke and Joanna thought this place was special. Ryan takes Joanna to the room with the destroyed eternities. There, Joanna states that she doesn't know who to choose. Ryan thinks Luke will be the best choice. But Joanna still has the final say. The modern day is coming. Larry takes her to the beach, where they would practically kiss if it weren't for the ball. While on the boat, Larry asks for forgiveness, that he wouldn't be able to be with Joanna in their last days, and their children like to see them together. Joanna senses manipulation in these words. When they come ashore, Joanna intends to visit the archive, but Luke is against this. He is sure that memories are dangerous. You get lost in them. But Joanna believes Larry is afraid to reveal some of the truth. At this time, Luke discovers the dropped letter. What gives Joanna? Now, she knows that Larry wasn't going to wait for her, and I wanted to leave. Joanna calls him selfish. Larry then states that he was a kind of comfort to Joanna after Luke disappeared, along the way, blaming Luke himself. Ever since he saw sketches of girls in his room, Luke now admits that he is over 67 years old. This is where he actually met someone, but he was still waiting for Joanna. The couple wants Joanna to make a decision now, but she needs time to think. A little later, her friend arrives. They visit several places for fun. Karen reminds her that they are already dead. Joanna has no more obligations. She can start her life again. At this time, Larry and Luke are drinking at the bar. They even manage to become friends. They say Joanna doesn't deserve them. The modern day is coming. Joanna calls the couple. She said it doesn't matter who she chooses. He will still feel guilty. That's why he doesn't choose anyone. Are you kidding me? And he leaves, barely holding back his tears. Joanna and Karen board the train to travel to eternity. At the same time, Larry confides in Luke. He proposed on the pier for a reason. Luke was a ghost he couldn't resist. Moreover, he believes that he choked on his breakfast, just because I saw their photo. In turn, Luke is jealous of his life, who lived with Joanna. As for their appearance, what their bodies accepted, Luke then discussed the possibility of starting a family with Joanna. And Larry and Joanna were waiting for the new arrivals. Suddenly, Larry went speechless. He runs out of the room and asks Joanna out so we can talk. He notices that she has long hair, and during her life, she wore short hair. This means she was happier with Luke, and he would like her to choose Luke. At first, Joanna tries to deny everything, but Larry assures her that it will be the right choice. Moments later, Luke and Joanna are sent to eternity, and Larry stays at the hotel because he doesn't know where to go, and she's proud of Larry. At one time, she stopped here to help lost souls. Luke and Joanna started a new life in the forest. As Luke fell asleep, Joanna began to think, what if he's wrong? That is why it was deleted in the archive. It was the day he and Larry met. Over the next few days, Luke took Joanna to various events with the other residents. That didn't amuse her, and at night, she returned to the archive. Review of life with Larry. The employee warns that standing in the archive for a long time is extremely harmful, and they will have to move on, leaving the past behind. One day, Luke declares that they lead an ideal life. But Joanna doesn't answer. The next day, she says she made a mistake. She was happier with Luke, just from youth and raw love, not burdened with problems such as mortgage, work, and children. Love is something more. There are also unpleasant moments here. She is also sure that Luke is in love with Joanna. This was 67 years ago. Now Joanna is a completely different person. She will try to come back, even if it is considered a violation of the rules. After thinking it over, Luke decides to help her. He distracts the archivist, allow her to enter the building. There they watch the moment because of their wedding. And Joanna said goodbye. She goes through the red gate. The alarm is turned off. Joanna searches her memories. Finally, he returned to the corridor. Where does he intend to find out this from the administrator? Where's Larry? Orientation is approaching. Make the girl run. She runs into Anna and Ryan, which helps her hide. Joanna really wants to know which eternity Larry chose. But the answer surprises her. Larry stayed at the bar. Joanna offers to go with her, although it could be dangerous, because she's breaking the law. But this doesn't scare Larry. The film ends with a scene. A couple is walking around the neighborhood, similar to the one they lived in.